choose alignment over choosing what you normally do on a regular basis, or better known as your daily habits. So something that I have been recognizing when it comes to myself is that I have wanted to really drastically change my life for quite some time. So the major way for me to do that was to start by implementing better daily habits so that I could get to a place where I can fully trust myself and know that I can do the things that I say I want to do, and also hold myself accountable. Because if you say that you want to exercise every day, and then every time it comes time for you to exercise, you choose not to do it, well, then you're not going to have the best relationship with yourself, because you continue to affirm that you cannot trust yourself when you say you're going to do something because you're not doing that thing, right? And one of the things that I've done over the past few weeks, especially, is that I just take everything a day at a time. Because if I wake up in the morning and I know that I'm going to get up with my 6 a.m. alarm, and I'm going to get up, make my bed, change into my exercise gear, journal, and then do my workout, then it doesn't seem so difficult because I'm only focused on that day. I'm not focused on, I want to be doing this every day for the rest of my life or anything like that. Because I think when you are thinking too deeply about how you want your life to look from the point of the experience where you're not in that regimen quite yet, you can really get to a point where you end up beating yourself up because maybe you miss a day. Maybe you wake up a little bit later because you were really tired. Whatever it is, right? Things are going to come up in your life, but if you are sticking too much to this schedule that you set out for yourself, it's not going to leave you the space, the room, the ability to truly just flow with your natural rhythm and to make adjustments depending upon what type of day you're having, what type of week you're having, but still knowing that you're still on the right track. One of the major things I like to think about is the concept of a GPS system, right? You may get off track sometimes, but at the end of the day, the voice is still going to be like, to get you back onto the route, go this way. And if you think about your life and you think about yourself and where you want to go in that way, then you won't have so much shame and guilt around when you fall off the wagon or when you make a bit of a detour. Because I think detours are the natural course of things. We're always going to take detours. And sometimes those detours can be really great. You learn something new that you didn't know that you needed to learn. You discover new pastures. You discover a new skill set that you'll be able to implement in getting to the destination that you want to get to. But again, if you are not giving yourself the space to do that and you're being too rigid, it's just going to be a very hard life for you. And in all honesty, that has been the case for me in a lot of ways, and maybe it's the case for you. I think too many of us, especially people who are ambitious and who really do want to make an impact on the world, we are way too hard on ourselves. And when we are in this energy of shame and guilt, that on the spectrum of those feelings that are going to either keep you at a lower vibration or a higher vibration, shame and guilt are at the bottom. So they're going to keep you in a lower vibration. If you're always mad at yourself, oh my gosh, I had that cake today. Oh my gosh, I didn't do a workout today. You're always going to be resonating on that lower vibration. So you'll never actually be able to resonate on those higher vibrations where you're feeling enlightened, where you're feeling unconditionally loved, and also where you're able to truly manifest that higher version of yourself, that dream life that you have for yourself. Because ultimately, I believe that when we set a lot of these goals, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, We set those goals because we assume that once we get there, we will feel a certain way. But then a lot of times, once people get there, they realize that it doesn't give them the feeling that they thought that they wanted. So why not instead focus on the feelings that we want to feel and make that the goal instead of the habits and all of that the goal? Because the goal is ultimately to have an amazing experience of life, to be in a state of joy, in a state of happiness, in a state of enlightenment. But you only get there when you don't focus on specific outcomes and you don't focus on specific career paths or even living in a specific city or being with a specific person. Think about how you want to feel and how can you feel that way right now. The more that you step into those feelings or feel into those feelings, the more that you're actually just experiencing your dream life right now, because ultimately we get to decide how we want to feel in any given moment. Two people could be going through the same thing, but they have completely different perspectives on the thing that they're going through because they're choosing to look at it at whatever way. So if we can choose the perspective that we have when it comes to any given situation, why wouldn't you want to hold the perspective that serves you and that helps you to stay in a vibration that is positive? And I was listening to this channeler, his name is Bashar, maybe you heard of him, and he was saying, circumstances don't matter. Only your state of being matters. And I think that it goes along really well with what I'm saying here. You need to remember that you can choose how you want to feel in this moment. And it doesn't matter how crazy the situation may look right now. How do you want to perceive it? And how do you want to feel within it? Sometimes shitty things happen, but imagine if you laughed at it. Laughing is a way better emotion than feeling shame and guilt. So the choice is up to you. And hopefully you decide that it's not worth feeling so low anymore. Maybe, just maybe, you can let go of the idea that you have to feel bad when something happens or when you mess up or anything like that. But instead, you can laugh and be like, ha ha ha, this is what I'm going through right now. This is what it is. And once you start to do that, whatever the situation was seems to really dissipate. And I remember I had a moment like this when I was in San Francisco. I didn't know where I was going to stay that night. And I had literally exhausted all of my own resources. So the only thing that I could rely on was truly God. So I went to the Embarcadero and I took out my journal and I just started writing or scripting where I was going to stay that night, how I was going to feel. And that's actually what happened. So we're way more powerful than I think we give ourselves credit for. But if you're too focused on the things that you don't like in your life, as opposed to the things that you can be grateful for in any moment, well then, life is going to suck. So maybe, just maybe, you should focus on what you're grateful for. And you should focus on how you can feel the best in every moment. And your life will change to reflect that state of being, as opposed to whatever circumstances you may find yourself in. If you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.